again for, is this the sixth episode now?
I don't know, sixth or seventh.
We're steamrolling ahead at least. We're almost at double digits. Well, let's just celebrate when it happens. But anyway, I'm here today with my good friend Thomas and a different friend, Bella.
Hi.
Yep. And so, okay, we're recording this on October 16th.
So,
College stuff was due yesterday. College stuff is due tomorrow.
oh yeah, that's for GT kids.
And yeah, GT. You're not going to GT?
No, hell no.
Oh, that's right.
It's my
Yeah, you
safety
got your
school.
own special thing.
It's
Yep.
my safety school, man.
Oh,
I don't even need to apply. I'm already in. There's like two kids who got accepted. I'm one of them.
yeah, that's right. So during NGHS one time, for the younger audience or people that might not know, you're able to check through Naviance, who from your school applies, or how many apply, and how many make it in, and how many make it in but don't actually go for every single college. The stats are kind of skewed. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I heard, I don't know if it's true, but Mercer, like they have a really high acceptance rate for GSMST kids. Like there's been very few kids that haven't gotten in or something like that.
I have
It's,
no idea what Mercer is.
I mean, I could even look it up right now
Is it
while
a med
we
school?
discuss more stuff.
But it could be a lie. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's like a medicine law. It's a good school.
But the fun statistic I wanted to look at was MIT.
Oh,
Um, Yeah, no, Thomas knows. So last year, um, or not last year, but a couple weeks ago, we looked at MIT statistics, and it's supposed to have between like a 5 to 8% acceptance rate year to year. Out of the 41 people that applied from GSMST, a single person got in, and they didn't go. And so I'm pretty sure that person was Samad from last year.
yeah, they have a 6% general acceptance rate, but like 2%.
2.5%,
Yeah, from
yeah, from
GSMST.
GSMST for
So we're
last
doing
year.
something
I
right.
remember when we were like eighth grade going into freshman year and like all the information meetings, they were bragging about how like the class that graduated before we came, there was like four kids that got in or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, not this year, man. Harvard only had one person get accepted, and they didn't go. So
Ahmad.
probably
Probably.
that's honestly, yeah, I don't know.
Uh,
Applying to
yeah, no,
schools is
no.
expensive, man.
It
Like,
is. I did not think about that until like they announced like AP exam registrations, and I was like, dang, like we have like all AP classes, and then some kids at our school apply to like 20 to 30 colleges, and then transcripts, SAT scores, sending your AP scores. Senior
No.
year is expensive.
well, you don't have to send your AP scores to all of them. You just send it to one you get into. So
Uh,
That's
there's
true.
that.
how do you send scores? Because does well, I know that it's not automatic, but how do
Technical
you connect
support.
College Board to?
You just Google how to send AP scores, and they give you instructions.
Oh, do you not know?
I think schools have like
No,
codes.
it's on the
Like if you basically can do it straight through AP Classroom or College Board.
yeah, it's the AP
Okay.
classroom, or I mean College Board. They just send scores, send AP scores, and you just choose a school you want to send it to, and yeah, you send whatever
And I
scores
know
you want to.
SAT scores is like $12 per school.
Yeah, unless you
Why?
want to
Hmm.
rushed. If you want to rush it, then it's like $30. So yeah,
That's
it's
But
good.
I think a lot of schools, like I applied to Georgia College yesterday. They had the same deadline as UGA, and you don't have to send your SAT score until like if they ask for it later. Like you can self-report it basically.
Yeah.
okay.
For
That's good.
UGA, you just need to like send the application or not or send a request to send it by the 15th, so you don't need to rush it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. I may have messed that
Transcripts
one up.
too.
yeah, but it's still kind of dumb, bro. It doesn't cost $12 to send a digital number over the
No, it
internet, bro.
doesn't.
It's like not even cents. Like it's just so
It's not
dumb.
sense. If you're looking at the infrastructure costs and divided by the amount of things that are sent, it probably,
It's like
I don't know, 10,000th of a penny.
for real. And it's not even like they're paying for like more expensive stuff that's discounted. Like you have to pay for everything. It's not like AP exams are cheap or anything. So like I don't even understand where the money's going for a non-profit, quote unquote.
It's going to
I
the
think
very
some
non.
of the fees or like how UGA makes you self-report your grades and all that, I think a lot of it is like a deterrent from like, because if you think about it, if all applications were free everything like required to apply was free, and they didn't have like self-reporting or like additional essays. Like every single kid in the state of Georgia would probably just apply to UGA for fun. So it's like I think it's a deterrent and try to keep the numbers down. And so that way their like ratio from like accepted to going in is like closer to
Bro, UG is like 40% acceptance rate. That's actually crazy.
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't
mean,
feel like it though.
No, like your average GPA was like a 4.0, and like
it was
the
Mhm.
four.
SAT was like a 1300 or something like that.
When
It
my
was
mom was applying to colleges, her brother, all that he did was send his SAT score to UGA and he got an acceptance letter. He never even applied. He just sent his scores to colleges.
The good
it's
old
crazy to
days.
think about, but yeah, in the good old days, as Thomas says, you could work off your entire college payments for a single summer job.
And you could also
Like
get paid in
if you
college.
wanted to work over this summer at like probably not the local convenience store, but some place that pays decent, then you could pay your entire college.
Go work at Bucky's for a summer.
I mean, to be fair, that would probably pay half your college back then. I don't know.
Yeah. At least for me, I don't have to worry about college costs, so that's nice.
Oh yeah.
Graduate debt free, and that'll be Gucci.
Yep.
That's kind of the move though, because like I saw somewhere like the average 20-year-old has like negative 40,000 net worth, so that's gonna be fun.
I mean, at that point, the people that are pulling that number down just change their identity and run away. You don't. It's not worth it, bro.
If you're changing your identity, then what was the point of getting a college degree with that identity?
You
Like,
still
if
have
you're just gonna change it to avoid your debt.
Well,
you
you get
still
the
have you still have
knowledge.
the skills, right?
The knowledge. Well,
Yeah,
if you do
yeah.
a trade school, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, there you go. We gotta get more kids doing trade schools.
I have
You,
a family friend who he barely graduated college or high school. Like he was like one math credit away from not like he had to do summer school, and if he didn't pass, he wouldn't have graduated. And he got into a welding school in Florida, and he's 22, and he went through welding school, and now he's a welding instructor at NYU, and he teaches like fabrication and stuff. And so it's like,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
welding's very good. Like,
Oh yeah,
mhm.
and
if you can
he
like,
probably makes massive bank too.
So now he's working for like a pretty prestigious university with like benefits and salary, and he barely graduated high school.
because everyone thinks CS is the strat. No, CS is not the strat. The strat is
No,
welding, plumbing, electrician. Those are the strats, man.
the biggest issue with CS is that now that everybody is doing it, it's already overflooded. It was overflooded 5 years ago, but it's going to be even more overflooded soon.
Yeah.
Like you won't be applying to like a place that's higher. You'll be when you're applying, it'll be a single number. You won't be a person or anything because hundreds of people are going to be applying for a single spot, and so
It's like applying to UGA. It's like basically a lottery.
yeah, more or less.
50-50 chance. Except they're probably worse, honestly. And they also compete with kids like Hershey, bro. That's like a,
Hershey, what's up with Hershey?
he's like a demagogue at coding, man. The dude like got into ISEP just by coding.
Dang,
So, yeah,
congrats to
man.
that guy, I guess.
Yeah, he's really smart. But yeah. So yeah, basically just don't do CS.
Don't do what most people are doing, and that's
Yeah,
how I guarantee some jobs.
you gotta be quirky. Just kidding.
I've never heard you use that word before.
But the thing about like CS and all like the technology related majors is that like it is constantly changing, and so like they'll have like a basic degree like computer science or like in computer engineering or whatever, and then there'll be jobs opening up or created or like random needs like contract working and all of that stuff. Like as we get older, it'll open up more and more. So like it is really over flooded, but like the hope is that we'll keep expanding and progressing.
They'll get a job in their 50s.
Yeah.
And to be clear, what me and Thomas meant by don't do CS is don't be a CS major. If you want to minor in CS, that's great, more power to you.
So then what do you guys think would be, if you're interested in that stuff, what would be a good major?
Not
Cybersecurity,
sure.
probably.
Yeah, security is great. Internet security. You could also probably look at something where you're researching hardware and all that, because especially with graphics cards, that boom is insane right now. Silicon Valley and all that.
Bro, this man's living like a decade in the past. Where are you at, man?
It's booming right now, bro.
This
It's
man
still
mentioned
booming, bro.
Silicon Valley like it was an emerging business, like emerging area.
Dude, it's still emerging. You have people making quantum stuff right now.
I'm sorry, but Silicon Valley is peaked. Like that, man. Just California in general is peaked, man. Like
Yeah,
the
fair.
last census was the first time California ever lost population. So
Wait, last census was the first time California ever lost population.
yeah, like it went down in
Oh,
population. It lost a congressional seat.
that's not good for
Wow.
California.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean like Texas is a new California basically right now.
Yeah.
I think, mm, I was gonna say, I feel like Texas was kind of the original California, and now it's like shifting
Shifting to what?
No, I
back
know
to
what,
Texas.
yeah, I know what she's saying because it was like the original frontier a long time ago, the original like oil boom, original everything.
And
Was
they had to
Texas?
get to Texas before they got to California.
I think Texas or that area was the original oil boom when Rockefeller first started looking for oil. I think he found his first vein in Texas. But that fact is really rough. I learned it like I don't know 5 6 years ago, something like that.
I have no idea.
Nope. For anybody that doesn't know, Rockefeller was the richest American in history,
Yeah, I just know there's a lot of oil in Texas. So yeah,
and there
that
still
sounds
is.
about right.
And
Oh
now there's
yeah, there
people like
still is.
RuPaul fracking.
If you look at like the shell map of the United States, it's like Texas, Oklahoma area, and then like Ohio. So,
Don't forget Alaska.
well, Alaska has everything, bro.
Yeah,
It's just too cold.
Alaska's the Africa of America. I shouldn't say that.
What do you mean by that?
Well, Africa's known to have a lot of resources that a lot of people pillaged a long time ago.
Uh, I thought you were getting at something else, but okay.
No. Yes. Um, so college applications aside, we also had a break recently, and I wanted to hear what you guys did over break.
Besides college
Yeah,
applications.
besides college apps, like don't even mention college apps because I know that we all did that, but what did you do besides college apps to recreate and relax?
Uh, get high from surgery, I guess.
Oh yeah, you got your wisdom teeth out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It only took like 2 days to recover, man. Like, that was actually
Really?
not even that bad, yeah. Like the third
Did
day
it
I was already working out, so like yeah. And then by the fourth day I could pretty much eat whatever.
did
So
they
like
give you laughing gas or what did
they
they
gave
give
me
you?
laughing
Mm-mm.
gas and anesthesia. They missed my vein twice. So like they went in, they didn't get it. They went in again, still didn't get it. But third time they finally got it. And that was it didn't really hurt that much. It was just kind of weird. It's a weird feeling.
I'm terrified to get my wisdom teeth out just because of the anesthesia. Like being unconscious. It's kind of scary.
I was just like, I
I
don't know.
don't care about the unconscious part. I care about the after effects when people can ask you questions and you'll just answer whatever happens, like off the top of your head. It doesn't even have to be true. It's just that it
I
might
feel
be
like
true.
I'm gonna be a crier. I'll just like cry and go to sleep.
I
Well,
feel like this might be a little bit big-headed for me, but I think it might just not affect me too much. Like,
what would?
like I don't know. I just live my life like I'm a laughing gas.
Uh, no, laughing gas it affects you. Like I didn't. They had it. They had me on it for like a couple minutes and I didn't feel anything, but like after the 3 minute mark, you start just giggling out of nowhere. You just find everything funny. So
Oh,
it took me like 20 seconds to go under when they put the needle in my arm. I was like,
yeah, that's right. You wait, 20 seconds?
something like
That's
that.
Don't they make you like count down or
No,
something?
they
yeah.
didn't do anything. I just kind of count down, but like it's kind of weird because like the last thing I remember is like the last thing I definitively remember is them putting the needle in my arm, and the first thing I definitively remember is like going out in a wheelchair, like stumbling to my car, with like
The first,
my dad helping me get in.
if, if I recall correctly, 20 seconds is actually pretty long for anesthesia.
Well, it may have not been 20 seconds, it may have been like 10, but I'm known to do a bit of exaggeration,
Only a touch.
just a touch. But yeah, that's pretty much my break, just getting my wisdom tooth moved and recovering.
I
Hmm.
didn't do too much. Um, yeah, I was surprised that we really didn't have a lot of homework. A lot of times, like they'll say, "Oh, like we're not giving that much work," and then every teacher just like decides they're the teacher that will, and then you end up with a lot of work. But we really didn't have much because I guess they all decided they wanted to have a break too.
Senior year has been chill like that. And also to be clear, they're not allowed to give us work, but they'll give us like they'll say something is not due the day we get back, but the day after. And
Hmm.
so if we all just do it the day when we get back or before break starts, and we'll have it done. No, nobody's doing that.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah,
behind on my SE log. I gotta get that done. But
I see. Like time lock,
yeah, I have like nothing filled out. It's like mid-month.
Oh yeah,
dude.
weren't we supposed to have like a
We were
like?
supposed to.
Mid-month
But
check
they didn't say
yesterday.
anything.
Yeah, I didn't get any like email or anything, so
No, I'm sure they're dragging their feet as well. Because yesterday was Saturday.
I'll just get it done today. Like whatever. I have a lot to do today, man. I got CSA. I got Lang. Yeah, you know.
The older that you get, the more you realize that there's wiggle room with late times because as long as the teacher doesn't see it's necessarily late, they're not grading it as soon as you turn it in or like as soon as the due date is.
Those are the teachers I like. The teachers like I don't take any points off until like I see it. You know, like even if it's past the due date, as long as I like am not checking it. If you submit before then you're fine. I like those teachers are great, man.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's actually realistic because like if you're not gonna look at it, then like why would it be like penalty? You know? I don't know. That's what I think. Cause like yeah,
No, your thoughts, I agree with them as well. Since the real world, if your boss says that he wants a report on his desk when he comes in the room and you get it, sometime by he comes in the room, that's whatever, right?
yeah,
Or or even if you get a coworker to delay him or something.
That's why I do like that before you get into class or like the 8 a.m. deadlines because it's like I know that teachers say it's for like sleep and they want us to sleep. But the thing is like kids are going to be staying up late, whether it's homework or like their free time or whatever. Like I'm not staying up late because of like whatever homework. Like either way, I don't know. If kids are gonna stay up late, they're gonna stay up late. Like I'm not the type of student to stay up super late doing my work. It'll either like get done or it won't, but some
for
kids
real.
choose to stay up till 3 a.m.
I never understood those kids, man. Like just why I can't just like spend my day without thinking about it. So I just want to get done.
Yeah, I can't understand those kids either. Even though my sleep schedule isn't the greatest, I do get my stuff done. And well, listen, no, it's not as bad as it sounds because I do go to sleep a lot earlier than 3 a.m. these days. I've fixed that up pretty fast. Yeah, Thomas, that sounds like you got to fix yourself up.
Man, I got 8 hours of sleep, man. I went to sleep at like 8 p.m. and I woke up at like 4 p.m. I mean a.m. So you know, it's 8 hours
Why
of sleep.
though?
What do you mean why? Because I can't. I literally, even if I tried, I can't stay up past 11. So I just fall asleep before then. I've built my schedule up so much, I just can't change it.
That's fair. That's more than reasonable.
Yeah. But like
I've
10:30, I just get so sleepy.
GSMST has almost taught me the ability to not stress over things and like due dates and stuff.
I feel like that's the opposite for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I just I
I
just
don't
don't
understand that.
I don't feel pressured about it anymore. I don't know.
Me too. I kind of feel that.
Do you think that's the teachers or the school? Like,
It's just having to deal with hard work, man. Like you just
I
have to.
think it's I think it's getting desensitized freshman year
Yeah.
and sophomore year at that matter. Getting desensitized to that kind of stress after having to deal with it for so long. It just doesn't like affect me anymore.
Yeah.
Not only that,
yeah,
but I've realized that even if I do turn something in late, it doesn't really matter. And alternatively, I can just not turn it in late. Like I can estimate how long it'll take me to do an assignment to the probably 15 minutes. So I'll just give myself ample time and it's fine.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting at GSMST, like for most high schools, it's like a universal thing that junior year is your hardest year. But I do think for like if we had a normal high school experience, it probably would have been sophomore year for me because you have like your first AP classes really, unless you choose to take one freshman year, and then you have
The freshman APs are easy.
yeah,
Oh,
and
if
then
you
you
did
have like
GS, then it's
science
easy.
fair, and I feel like sophomore year would be pretty overwhelming.
Well, now sophomore year is easy, bro. They took out a science fair, and like if you do science fair, it's a separate period, so
I didn't know that. It's optional?
it's optional now.
Wait, I thought that it was still mandatory, but
Yeah.
you had an entire
No, you can
period,
do like
right?
another. You can do like you can either do like go into science fair, or you can like actually just do like some sort of like pre-planned project. It'll be like an air phys eng project. You can either do like a phys eng project or like do your own science fair stuff, and you get a whole period to do it every day.
They must have done that because that was like the breaking point for people or something, and they must have changed it.
I mean, well, yeah, 'cause my science fair, I just did it to do it, like to get an A in the class. Man, I didn't care to go to ISEF. I didn't have anything groundbreaking. I literally just did a unit from AP Bio as my science fair.
I
So,
redid my like sixth grade science fair project and then just made it like a little bit more fancy.
What was your sixth grade science fair project? Baking soda
It's
vinegar.
actually
Okay.
my like elementary school like science special teacher told me to do it. It was like mealworms um are known to be able to digest plastic. And so there's been like a whole bunch of research in like mainly Asian countries about like using them to alleviate like pollution and all this stuff. And so sixth grade, I was testing like whether they could actually eat plastic or not, but I didn't think about like you can't just like throw a milk jug in a bucket of dirt and like expect worms to eat it. So it like did not work at all. But then fresh or sophomore year, I got like different types of plastic and like tons of worms and like really fine pieces and like it was still hard though because I was in a group, but it was like isolated, like we couldn't meet up, so I like did it all at my house.
I didn't mind solo, but I don't know if that was good or bad, 'cause like teachers, like when you're working in a group, they expect like a group amount of work. But like when you're working
Hmm.
solo, they're willing to give you a lot more leeway, in, like what you submit, which I think
Yeah,
definitely helped me.
my teacher brought that up several times about like just because this person is like doing it at their house or this person did this document, like it's not three separate assignments. Like you're supposed to collaboratively have work that sums up like three different people's things, like
hmm
that they're grading on a different scale. So yeah,
And
I don't know if I regret it or not. I don't know.
for the group work, did you have one logbook for everyone, or did you have like individual logbooks?
It was one logbook.
Okay.
I did a group project as well. However, I'd say that the amount of work we would have to have done, or I would have had to have done if it was individual versus a group project would have been the same. As in, the way that our project worked, there's no way you could really expand on it that much, except maybe the research, which
For
the,
my
the way that we
research,
the way that we divvied it up was that just whoever did more work in one area had to do less work in a different area, and that
That's what
really
we
worked.
tried to do too.
It worked really well for us because I mean, different people just did different things. I worked on like
Yeah.
the idea and the design for the entire project. Somebody worked on the research while I like checked their work to make sure that it was, fine and proofread, and somebody else did something else.
honestly,
Yeah, because I was doing it at my house. I had to keep up with majority of the logbook, so like they would focus on research or something like that.
Yeah.
honestly though, like the research was kind of lame, because like I had this thing, like I already knew the answer was, because like it was already scientifically proven, so I just had to like research while knowing the answer, and I was just like, it felt so worthless, so I kind of just like got some random articles and tried to put it together. So
Yeah, I don't know. It was sort of the same thing for me. Like I knew it would work after a single Google search.
for real.
Then I had, yeah, it's to be clear, what I did was I had a solar panel probably about this big, and then I took a massive lens and I've put it on top, and I said that probably because I'm putting a lot more sunlight and concentrating it onto the solar panel, the output will be higher. And yeah, I mean that's how it worked.
By how much? Like what percentage yield?
60% increase in, I think it was voltage, and 61% increase in power.
That's pretty good.
I should remember the numbers because I was happy with them. It's really good if you look at it. The only issue is that you needed longer testing because even though this is a cheaper system, as in, like you can go to your roof and install small solar panels that have a high amount of concentrated sunlight. those solar panels would probably die really fast because they heat up hard.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like, actually, solar panels are relatively pretty efficient compared to actual plants. Because like solar panels can capture like 20% of the energy the sun has given to them, but only plants can only do like 1 to 2%. So we're actually doing pretty good with in that regard. But
There's been people that have so solar panels are a pretty big industry in that there's always new research coming out about more efficient solar panels, and there are people that have come out with 30%, if something around the 30% mark efficiency solar panels that are
mm,
long lasting and don't need special treatment.
then that's pretty
And
cool.
so that's a feature we can look forward to.
Yeah, but sadly, there's not enough resources and capital in the world to actually make the transition to green energy. Sadly,
No.
especially now with Russia and Ukraine warring each other, man. Like no resources are coming out of Russia, and Russia was gonna have to like use their resources to fund the green transition. But you know, I'm just a bit. It's honestly probably not likely that the world will ever turn green.
I don't think
Well,
in our lifetime.
the U.S. military has declared a while back has declared climate change like a threat to U.S. Security and integrity, and so
I
they've
wish
been working
politicians
to.
would do the same thing.
I wish they would, yeah, but
The Green Party.
yeah, the minute party. This is the size of Green Party right here. But yeah, a while back the military did declare that it was a threat to U.S. interests, and so I don't know what they're really doing with that information, but they've declared it an open threat, like they're going to start a war on climate change, I guess. I don't know.
The war on change.
And so,
There's nothing the U.S. military is gonna do, man. Like,
I
well,
think it'll
which is,
happen more on a personal level, like people in my neighborhood like put up solar panels and stuff like that. But I agree that in our lifetime, definitely it won't be like
it won't be a major step, major progress.
globalized yet.
and if you look at the transportation industry, there's no way there's enough capital nor resources to make everything electric, like electric cars, electric buses. There's
But
no way that's
even
gonna
then,
happen.
I have like an almost, I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion about Teslas, but like everyone thinks it's zero because it's zero emission, it's like great for the environment. But the batteries,
That's what I'm saying.
like
Yeah.
it's horrible. Like making those batteries is horrible for the
I,
environment. And Tesla batteries last like, or not just Tesla, but like electric car batteries last like significantly less than like actual car batteries. They have to um, get new ones a lot more frequently, and so they're adding so much more waste that like we literally have no good way of getting rid of. So the waste and the byproducts of creating them are like just as bad as
Well, it's not just
emissions
as.
from cars.
so I got some facts about that. The first is just a fun fact. The first car was electric because gas motors weren't powerful enough back then. Um, and so what you were saying about the waste being produced, or not even waste, but the damage in the environment for getting the materials, the capital for batteries,
Yeah.
the majority of
Global.
that comes from lithium mines
Yeah.
because, lithium ion batteries and lithium mines themselves are, they're extremely bad for the environment and there's not that many in the world. So the places that do have lithium mines are gunning hard on them and completely rendering that entire like ecosystem gone. Um, yeah, they're more or less running out. They gotta find a way to recycle the lithium, which is possible through chemical means. It's very possible. It's just energy intensive to do so.
Well, if it's
And
energy
not
intensive, then you have to get that energy from somewhere else, and it's probably not gonna be
exactly.
through
And
renewable.
and that was my other thing. I was going to say how even though all these cars run on electricity, let me ask you this: where do you think that electricity comes from?
Well, I mean, the the amount of fossil fuels that kilowatt of energy makes is relatively not that much compared to like if you compare it to gasoline. So throughout Tesla's lifespan, it's gonna be a lot more safe for well, a lot less environmentally damaging just through emissions wise than a traditional car. But like, there's just not enough resources and there's not enough capital money to like fund the transition. Like,
And if we figure out a way to like safely dispose of like batteries and all of that, then maybe.
Well, it wouldn't be disposing; it would have to be recycling because again, we're running out
Yeah,
of
that's
lithium and stuff. But The main reason why I mentioned that the electricity comes from, like not always green sources is because even though Teslas and all that are basically zero emission, that's only what's coming out of the car itself, but the amount of electricity they consume is not zero emission.
Yeah.
And then
But what?
nuclear power plants is another thing, even though they use uranium, which is very, very low emission since it's uranium. To heat up the uranium and all that, you need to use literal metric ton of coal. Like,
No,
it's
but
not
once
like
you
you
have
can.
it heated up, then just it's self-sufficient. So,
True, very true. It's just that there is always like sides of things that people don't pay attention to because they
well,
choose not to.
nuclear is just such a good energy source that people aren't using. So, like, and nuclear is the way to transition to green. Like, in
Oh yeah.
an intermediate step, just transition to nuclear, man. On average, like per capita of energy production, nuclear is like the safest form of energy.
And
Be
it
like,
basically has no emissions too, right?
yeah,
Like
just
it
only
Yeah,
basically
more
gives
or
off
less.
water vapor and that's it.
yeah,
Even though a lot of coal is consumed to produce nuclear energy, it's not nearly as bad as
yeah.
other forms.
And like, if you go to
And
like a coal power plant, like
oh
at
yeah,
most, coal power plants are only at 40% efficiency. And like, if you go to nuclear, nuclear is like quite efficient. It's like 30%, but like, if you take just the amount of energy it can produce, it's
Hmm.
pretty good.
and every single nuclear power plant around today is fission nuclear reactions. But now they're coming out with fusion nuclear reactions, which
I don't
is
think they are. That's still
they
a
are they
process.
are
Is it?
no no no
Are they actually coming off of fusion?
they had a recent experiment where they showed that they can produce more wattage by actually doing it.
No, I know like fusion is like can produce so much energy, but like I never thought,
In theory, yeah.
well,
I
in
thought that
theory,
it wasn't.
yeah, I
No,
thought it wasn't applicable.
in practice they've done it so far. It's not
Dang,
it still needs a lot of research. It's just that
yeah,
and they've shown that
prototype
they can
actually.
do it. Yeah,
That's such crazy,
that's what this is a prototype. It's like
especially for that.
it's the same kind of wavelength as what quantum processors and all that is doing right now.
And if you look at Europe, just like with the entire energy blackmail that Russia's committing, like if you look at a country like France, France probably doesn't have to worry because like I think they're the second largest nuclear producer or nuclear. They have like 11 power reactors in their country, while Ukraine has like 15. I think Ukraine's number one, France is number two. But if you look at a country like Germany, which is trying to shut down its nuclear plants for years now, like, and they have very much nothing now, like in terms of their self reliability, so that they import all their energy. And the energy they're importing is not very green. It's completely carbon based, like liquefied natural gas, literal coal. Like, if they just kept their nuclear power plants, they would have been in a much better situation. So I just don't understand
You said
politically.
Germany?
Yeah, Germany. They're trying to
I've heard
shut
it
down their nuclear plants.
I've heard of that before, but I wanted to know why. Do you know
I
why?
don't understand why they didn't shutting. I guess because people are afraid of another like 7 Mile Island or like Fukushima or Chernobyl, even though like that's probably never gonna happen.
No, in order to get those three instances, you had a series
So
of
much went wrong.
very, very unfortunate events have had to happen.
Because like
If you look at it,
Chernobyl, A, it's the Soviet Union. B, it's in the 60s. So like the technology and a safety upkeep is very much not there.
and
And
they
And
it's
aren't
were
there like plenty of conspiracy theories about like what actually happened at Chernobyl because it's the Soviet Union? We don't have like
I've I've never heard of any.
yeah.
really?
No, I
I mean, I'm
haven't
sure that
either.
there's conspiracy theories, but I'm also not one to pay attention to those because they why?
And then Fukushima, you literally had an earthquake that caused it, which
It wasn't only an earthquake; it was an entire tsunami because it was on the
okay, yeah,
coast, and then the biggest issue of Fukushima is that the government didn't do anything about it.
yep,
Like I remember that the people ordered something like 4,000 gallons of water so they could cool the reactor and like submerge it.
yeah.
And they got 4,000 bottles of water.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Nobody ever talks about that part.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but like yeah, it's just so much. Like a properly kept up nuclear power plant is just good.
Yeah,
Like I don't
it's like
understand why people don't like them,
it's like
but
they have more safety mechanisms than a dang elevator, and everybody goes on those.
yeah. The only issue is when you have a war site next to a nuclear power plant. Zaporizhia, man. It's like the largest reactor in Europe, but just don't have wars. Easy.
Yeah, you just solved the world's problems there, Thomas.
Yeah, I should just be dictator of the world. Go down real good.
I'd be down for
I don't think anyone else would.
that.
Uh, that's kind of an interesting concept though. Like, with the entire world united, just to like focus on like actual stuff, you know? Because like,
The UN.
well, UN's pretty much worthless, right? Okay.
Yeah, they don't do nothing. Well,
Well,
they do a lot of humanitarian.
they do a good amount of humanitarian work, but like apart from like actual cohesion, it's pretty much worthless.
But like that was the idea.
Yeah. But like,
It's not a bad idea to be clear. It's doing well for itself because we haven't had like so I know Ukraine versus Russia is a big war, but we haven't had a major war like World War Two in since World War Two.
well, I think a big part of that is just nukes. You know.
Yeah, no,
A
100% is a big
fear,
part of
yeah.
it, but Ukraine versus Russia could have turned so much bigger, just not like overnight.
It's still good.
Well, I'd say it would have if Russia didn't have nukes. If Russia didn't have nukes, it would just be another Iraq Kuwait war. You know.
Yeah,
Apart from this time,
we're,
like Russia would get rolled in like a week.
yeah, and they're still getting rolled.
I'm not getting
And
rolled, but
wasn't one of the big like points of contention, like if Russia had invaded or done anything with Poland, then it would have dragged a whole bunch of other countries in.
oh no, yeah,
I'm
100%.
not the most
Article
like
5.
educated on it, so I'm more asking if that's like
So
the big
basically, yeah,
fear.
every single country that borders Ukraine is part of NATO. So like, if
Okay,
there's a
yeah.
missile strike against any of those countries, then Article 5, which states that an attack on one member is an attack on all members. So like,
Hmm.
if there's an attack on one of those countries, then the entirety of NATO is obligated to attack Russia. So that's what
And
was
what
ordered.
was the reason that Ukraine wasn't like a part of NATO, even though they like asked to be? Like,
It's because I think,
Oh yeah, Russia was putting pressure, wasn't it?
well, yeah, Russia obviously would not allow. Well, Russia actually kind of warned Ukraine, stating that they didn't want Ukraine to be part of NATO. So like, Ukraine trying to join NATO was kind of the reason, part of the reason for the war. And secondly,
mm,
Ukraine until like 2000, I think 14, was under the Soviet influence. It had a very pro-Russian presence, and then until the Orange Revolution in 2000, I think 14, and then 2014 is the same year Russia warred Ukraine to get Crimea and started a civil war in the Donbass. So like the moment Ukraine started to shift away from Russia's influence, they started to stir up trouble, and it's pretty much been like that ever since. So Ukraine has been trying to join NATO, but like Russia has been trying to like block that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then for Ukraine to join NATO, every single NATO country right now has to join, has to agree with it. So like you have countries like
hmm.
Hungary and Turkey. Well, Turkey is actually more pro-Ukraine right now, but like countries like Hungary, which are definitely very pro-Russia. Like Hungary is pretty much a totalitarian state. So like yeah, they're probably not going to accept that.
Is there any way to change the article so it's only like 90% have to agree?
Then you have to have every single country agree on that.
Fair.
So
It'd be nice if they fought ahead on that kind of thing, but oh well.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure Ukraine's gonna join NATO after this war, but not before, because like nukes.
Yeah,
That's
and I'm
just
sure that if it comes down to it, like anybody can pressure Hungary
I don't know.
into kind of
Hungary's like an irrelevant state in Europe.
yeah.
Let's be honest here, man. Like
They got nice cities.
yeah, I haven't been, so I couldn't tell you. But
Budapest is really nice. It's a big city, but it's small enough that you can walk around it all in about a week if you try hard.
mm.
Like 20,000 steps a day, kind of try hard.
Is it? Isn't it's only like a couple million, right?
A couple million what?
People.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
not
not
big.
that big.
No, but it's very pretty. The name Budapest actually comes from two cities a long time ago that like came together, Buda and Pest,
Mm.
across the river.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Bella, we never actually got to what you did over break. You just had no homework.
I think that was all she did.
um, well, you told me I can talk about college applications, and I basically had to write my whole personal essay over fall break because I had not started.
I read my UGA supplemental in like 2 hours.
Yeah, me too.
I wrote three. Yeah, I wrote my personal and two of my supplementals. But
It's kind of
I
good.
submitted my personal. Like finally, I had everything else on besides that, and I did that yesterday. And then right after I submitted it, I read it and I found a typo, and so I'm just trying not to think about it.
Yeah, I read over mine like 20 times before submitting it just to make sure.
I did too, but
It
I
just
I
slipped.
was like, I think my problem was I let too many people like edit it and like look at it, and I
Oh.
like lost track of like which one was which. And
Yeah, I only let people comment on mine. I had like 3 people check it, including the teacher, but that's about it. So,
I didn't
I
even get a chance to go to the writing center.
I don't know.
I
They
did
were
a lot
booked
of
so long in advance. Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, yeah. So I did a lot of self-reviewing on my essay. I got like
Hmm.
5 or 6 different copies of my own before I got Simon to look at it in math one day, like last Thursday. Uh, he said, "Hey, it's pretty good, but it would be cool if you did this." And I said, "All right, cool, I'll do that." So I did it
Hmm.
overnight, and then the next day I got Miss Caldwell to look at it, and she said, "Yeah, I like it." I said, "Okay,
Miss Caldwell,
yeah, Miss Caldwell."
I should have had her look at mine.
You could pretty much
Did
have
you
any
have?
teacher look at yours, honestly.
Yeah, Miss Caldwell's an
I
amazing
had
writer, so I'm lucky she looked at mine.
I had my stepmom was like a English and literature like high school teacher, so she did most of my editing. But I had like one friend that was just like, "Yes, it's perfect. Submit it now." And then one friend like changed all of my grammar, and then another one like added random sentences. I got like overwhelmed.
So you got to be careful with a lot of that stuff because a lot of the time your grammar is not wrong. It's just that somebody has a
My
different style of
style.
writing. Yeah, it's
No,
styling.
but I do have bad grammar. I use commas instead of periods, and I also forget commas when they're actually needed. Like I have so my like sentences will be like a paragraph long.
Bella, don't do that.
Yeah, I have a big
That's
problem with
why I
filling in
had
sentences too.
Yeah, that reminds me of the good old days actually when something like in 6th grade we'd write sentences and put a period after every single little clause and try to no, because you'd have
Yeah, I
like
remember that.
yeah,
I
and like
went to the
paragraphs would be
park.
this big.
I had a lot of fun. It was a very interesting day.
No, we didn't even know it was like interesting. Like we spelled with an A or something in it.
Interesting.
the moment I learned what like a what is it called? A subordinating conjunction was, I add them everywhere all the time. Like I just cannot end my sentences.
I don't know what a subordinated
Conjunction
conjunction is.
Like
junction. What's your
since
function?
when like since I was little, I blah 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 blah.
Oh,
Oh, those ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
bro, German taught me more about like what English is like the specific terms are called more than like any English class did.
Yeah.
Cause I had no idea like what a conjunction was before German. I just kind of like, oh, this is how you do it.
I didn't know what conjugation meant before
For
8th grade.
real.
Because we don't even like
We don't care about that stuff.
yeah.
Like I still remember, well, no, it was 7th grade. My teacher asked us, "How do you conjugate the verb to be?" And we all just looked at her like, "I don't. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I swear we never heard that word ever until like you take a foreign
For
language.
real, man. Like, like, why
Because it's
is
implied.
why does
Yeah,
sign like sign have like so many like different forms? Like, isn't it just like this one stem? Like, why is it so many
Yeah.
different forms? That
I
doesn't make any
remember
sense.
like freshman year in Hosanto's class, and then he would put a word up on the board and you had to like go up and like fill in like the conjugation table, and he put Zine up there and no one in my class like knew it. We had like never seen the word before, and then he wrote bin, and we were like, oh my god, and we all like ran up there. Like I didn't even know like the what's that called, the infinite, what is it, the like
Infinitive.
yeah, the
Oh,
infinite.
this Stammwechsel? No,
I
no,
still
no.
don't know what some vexel is.
It's just like
it means
strong verb, I think.
no. Samvexel is when no. Yeah, wait, is that? I thought it was
Because stom
Samvexel
is
was
like
when the
regular or
Yeah, stem.
like stomtish,
no
regular
Samvexel is
table.
when the stem changes. So
Yeah.
like in
No,
Schlaf,
Stammwechsel is like when the stem changes, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's like ich schlafe,
You
du
Schleife.
schläfst,
Or yeah, Schleift.
Yeah.
er schläft, that kind of thing.
Good old
That's what
English,
Samvexel
man.
is.
It's kind of interesting. I feel like German made me a better English speaker.
100%. My grammar's been getting a lot better since taking German, ironically.
I just, you ever, I actually don't know, like, are you? No, yeah, because like the formatting for a sentence in English and German are both the same. So,
Kinda.
Mostly the
like, are
same.
you, bist du, like,
But
have
like the
you,
verbs,
hast du?
verbs get thrown around everywhere.
Yeah,
They're thrown around everywhere in English too. It's just that they're thrown around in
Know
different.
what they are.
They're mostly the same, just not completely. I remember somebody a while back said that word order in German makes no sense to them, so they just like to know what words they have to have. They just put them in a random order that sounds German.
that's kind of like the quasi-German. Like, if you don't know a word in German, just say it in English, but like with German pronunciation.
Literally, if I don't know a word, I just add like GE at the beginning or like EN at the end,
Yeah,
and then it's
and like make the C's sound like K's and like the, yeah.
Yeah, I remember Sohaib recently. He just said Ich kann attestieren.
exactly.
Yeah.
It can attest to that.
Yeah.
Someone said that in German. Well, it can attest to das. Yeah,
Ich kann attestieren.
yeah.
Sohaib said that.
But then
It's because
sometimes you get it right, and like that word just
Means
so
that.
happens to be exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
to be clear,
Like we
attestieren
were
isn't a
doing
word,
that.
It's not German.
but I think that the context was that Vishnu said,
There's like something
what
about
was
drinking in Germany.
no, it wasn't that. He said something that the Germanites say that was like some kind of English word turned German. And then Herborza just looked at him and said, "That's English. You can't do that." But apparently in German, that's what they say. Like they've turned the English pop culture into their own language.
Was geht ab, Leute?
I'm kind of curious what German ghetto speak is like. Like when you get an underground German.
Underground German. Just listen to music, like German music. I'm sure you'll find out. Like, I actually don't. I never listen to German music outside German class. I know Liam does, but
The most I listen to is maybe like the occasional yodeling piece because I'm bored and I want to mess with people. Um,
throat singing Mongolian music.
so yeah, no, there's that piece too, but I haven't listened to it in a while back.
The
Um,
only song I'll ever listen to is the like the Robin Hood one that Herr Santos played, like My Bestest Freund, Ishnish, something.
no, I don't know it.
I was singing it in German the other day, and no one knew what I was talking about. Not even Herr Berza. I was like, it was literally Herr Santos' favorite song.
I don't remember much from the German one. I just remember the people in it.
I don't
I
remember much
loved
except
German one.
I
Tai
didn't.
Chi. Tai Chi Fridays were great. Was it Tai Chi Friday? No, it wasn't. Was it?
Hmm.
Okay. I remember that was wonderful.
I was always
Like
confused in that class.
Tai Chi Friday, I would always just do goofy things during the thing, like making up forms that don't exist. Or one time I discovered a future form that we haven't looked at yet on accident.
Oh yeah, we looked at the video. Like there was a video and he would always stop like
Number
right
7.
before. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Yeah,
like we saw the videos like looked it up on ourselves.
One time, Herr Santos like walked out of the room and forgot to like pause the video or something. He probably did it on purpose. It was funny. And he walked back in and it was like on number 7, and he's so. I just love Herr Santos' reactions. He's so funny.
Yeah,
he's wonderful.
I mean,
Just his way of doing things is it's almost old-fashioned, but I love that about him. Like it's not American, and it's so nice about him. There was one time we were crossing down the hall, and I just nodded at him like I don't know some American way. He winked at me, and I appreciate that guy.
that's pretty awkward though. Like a wink. I don't know.
No, well, no, it's just a general way of doing things, though. It's not that awkward when you think about it. It's just
I guess.
He
yeah.
talks about that sometimes, like when he first started teaching in America after like living in Brazil and then going to school in Germany and all that. Like his sometimes students would do stuff that was like offensive in every other country he'd lived in, but it was like normal in America, and it was like such a hard adjustment for him, like not like being offended every time someone did something.
Uh,
To
that
be
made
clear, to be clear, when I went to Romania, that winking thing I mentioned, commonplace. Everybody does it.
It's just like a normal greeting, like nodding.
Yeah.
It's very European.
Well, it's like nodding kind of like this thing, that the normal head nod. That's very American, but
Hmm.
in response, if you wink or something, that's very European.
Well, the head nod's a very like if you like what's like that's a very like young American thing. I don't think like
Yeah,
old people
But then
do that.
the downward nod is like tipping your hat at someone. Like that's
Yeah,
where it came from.
that's
yeah,
like for respect. Like upward nod, it's just like yo, what's good?
yeah.
Good old
I don't
culture, man.
nod.
I do
Every
it.
time I nod at someone, I just feel dumb.
You probably do it subconsciously because there's been research
Mm-mm.
about no people
I'm
do it
very
sub.
conscious about nodding.
Okay, then maybe you don't do it, but there's research about how a lot of people do it subconsciously, and how there's. I've heard a story about one kindergarten teacher that would nod at her like 5-year-old students, and they would nod back without knowing what's going on.
I do nod a lot, but I honestly nod more than I say hi to people.
Well, I always would like smile, and then I think over like COVID and when we came back and we're wearing masks, and then I'd like smile, but it probably just looked like I was staring at people because like they couldn't see my face, and I was just like watching them down the hallway. So now I don't even know how. I don't think I ever stopped. I think I just.
Nah,
You
she's always comes in a grouch, man. She walks in that econ class and she's always so grim, man. No smile coming from that's from her.
It's
see the
because you and both of you and Liam come over there and just like huddle over the table, and it stresses me out.
How does it stress you?
well, we talk about many different econ related items like tax evasion and all that, so it's fine. We're teaching the class in our own way.
I don't want to be associated. I don't want Dr. Shelby to think I'm a part of your conversation.
I don't know what you're talking about. All three of us are doing great in econ right now.
I don't think she cares.
No, she don't.
She's
I
from New
mean, if
York.
any,
She doesn't care about anything.
if
She's
anything, I have her for my SE. She's super, super chill if you get to know her.
she's from New York.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot more makes sense, right?
yeah.
Hmm.
Probably
How's she
got
up in?
bamboozled.
I don't know.
I
Just
don't
like
know.
I found out that Mr. Johnson was born in Texas, and I was like,
He was born in
what?
Texas?
Yeah.
There's no
He
way.
seems like he'll be born in Texas.
I don't see that at all. He seemed like an almost Ohio kid or something. I don't
I
know.
thought he was like from Georgia and just like went to NYU to like live his dream.
Man
He
went to
went to
NYU.
NYU?
He studied at NYU and UGA. I don't know where else.
No.
I listen in his class.
Well, I listened to his class too. It's just that Bella sometimes turns around and does some weird thing and then like we all start giggling for 5 minutes. It's the
Show
weirdest
giggling
thing
to
because
me.
I was
I'll
so embarrassed when he moved me the other day. I
yeah,
almost cried.
that was pretty funny. Um, no, in AP Lit, I sit behind Bella and she'll just turn around and be what?
I get so bored sometimes.
Yeah, we could tell. Me and Steven could tell.
I don't think I get bored a lot. I don't get bored a lot actually. Like I'm rarely bored if ever.
I get bored in
Honest.
math. As much as I hate to say it, I love Mr. Pearson and multivariable calc, especially the stuff that we're doing right now. It's just that it feels a bit like a touch slow for me. I
I
mean, for
talk too much in
context,
that class, man.
well, for context, I went to GHP for mathematics. Like, it's multivariable calc isn't supposed to be the kind of class that holds you back. It's a very relaxed class,
I
and he doesn't
know.
care. He doesn't care much about you being on your phone and stuff. And so, I mean, I never go on my phone really, but if it's a slower day, then maybe just a little bit.
No, Mr. Thurston the goat.
Oh yeah,
I
he's
have to
wonderful.
give math like my all undivided attention, or like I will never. I math just does not come naturally to me.
Mm.
If you need math tutoring ever, I'm like certified. I've been no,
Very
Certified,
no,
yeah.
professional.
no, legit, because I'm a tutor at Mathnasium.
Uh,
I get paid for
This
this.
year, I'm doing a lot better than normal. I love Mr. Rollins' style of teaching. I haven't fallen asleep yet. That was my problem last year. I'd like fall asleep. so much. And like I moved myself to the front of the classroom because I was like, surely there's no way I can fall asleep right in front of the teacher. And I did. And she never said anything to me or woke me up or anything. She just let me sleep in front of her.
That's a go
She
teacher.
must have, yeah, she must have thought you were tired or something. I don't know.
Well, you obviously are if you're falling asleep in the class.
Well, no, but like I've heard of some teachers that will like kick the chair out of under you. Not a GSMST, but some teachers might. But then there's some teachers that'll just throw a blanket over you and say you probably need it more than this class.
But
Um,
every day, and she saw my quiz grades. She knew that I I needed the class more than my nap.
I mean, what do you really need it? Like, it's high school. Where are you gonna actually learn? You're not learning anything in
I'm
high
gonna go
school.
into high school. I mean, go into college and take like college algebra, and then never take a math class ever again.
For real, like,
I'm willing to change my major if I there's any sort of above
what's your
chance.
major?
Well, right now, um, I for every college it's kind of different because I don't know.
You don't have
My
anything specific?
my first choice is Georgia College, and at Georgia College I have philosophy with a pre-law concentration. So no math,
Wait, you want to be a philosophy major?
pre-law concentration.
how do you get paid to be a
Oh,
philosopher?
I want to be a lawyer, not a philosopher.
Oh, lawyer.
you kept on cutting out, yeah. Geez, a lawyer though. Are you like sure?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that because of your own abilities. I'm just saying that because lawyers, I would hate to be a lawyer.
Eh,
yeah.
I don't think it's that bad.
My SEE and my JFE are at the we're district attorney's office. So I've like immersed myself in like law and like specifically like criminal prosecution and all that, and I'm pretty sure.
Geez, 20 years down the line, if I ever get like in trouble for like I don't even know what super speeding or whatever, do I dare call Bella?
No.
She's gonna have like her own billboard, you know, like those like Morgan billboards.
No,
Just go
I'm
like,
not gonna be that. No,
she's gonna have her own
No,
like,
you gotta have a billboard every 5 miles.
for
no, I'm not gonna take advantage of like people that get in a car accident. I'm gonna be like a
that's why you say no.
criminal, like
Well, all I'm
no
saying is,
family law, no accident, like insurance law, none of.
look, all I'm saying is that the lawyers that win are the people that take advantage of her misfortune. And so like,
I'm different.
like they're
Jesus
the kind of
Christ.
people that say that you are a divorced housewife and now whatever you pay me comes out of somebody else's pocket. So I'm gonna charge you $200 an hour.
I don't understand what you just said, but yeah.
So
It's like
in
when women
divorce,
are going through divorce, if they don't have a job or anything, they're getting money from their ex. And so sometimes it works
Uh,
out to where the person they're divorcing is paying for their divorce.
yeah,
uh,
the person after divorcing pays the entirety of the legal fees.
and that's why I don't get married.
Yeah.
I
Or
could never
even
do that.
well, even these days, getting a girlfriend could be really bad because if you have a girlfriend that lives in the same roof under you for a certain amount of years, I'm not sure how much.
Common law, yeah.
Yeah, they can like legally prosecute against you if you want to kick them out
It
or something.
depends on the state. Like I don't know if Georgia law or if Georgia has common law, but like I know North Carolina, I have family members who they're not like they never went to the chapel and got married, but under North Carolina they're married because they've lived together for so long.
Yeah, and so you can't even find a loophole anymore.
Come on, bro.
Can't ever get no security.
Well, guess I'm moving
Just
back to
don't join
Ukraine.
your finances.
I mean, if it comes down to it, just go for men, right?
Switch sides.
Switch teams,
I
go.
feel the law would still
If you
apply.
can't beat him, join him.
Yeah. I mean, I attract more men than women anymore. Anyway,
What the?
no, listen, man, it's not
No,
false.
but it's not the fact that the law doesn't apply. It's the fact that we
It's
don't take
security.
advantage of shit.
There you go, security. Number one.
It's a common bro code. Thou
Yep.
shall not take 50% of another man's stuff.
When you're not endowed 50% of it.
It's common sense.
Oh man,
Almost.
Bella's tuned out. Bella's gone.
Yeah, I think she just like Done. Anyways, I think about an hour soon. What do y'all
Yeah,
think?
that was a good podcast. Oh, but I got one last. Does anybody else want to add anything before we like I give my special announcement?
I'm good.
So on Friday, I was hanging out in Miss Caldwell's room because we were figuring college recs out, which that's done by the way. But somebody named Janelle came by, and this person is the
Danielle,
what?
It's
go ahead.
pronounced John Yo.
My
I don't know
bad.
if that's what you're talking about.
No, the first NGHS president. So probably is.
Oh, I don't know. Probably
Oh,
not. No.
never mind. Yeah, so she came by and she just happened to be the first NGHS president, and she's going to be on the podcast sometime.
Hmm.
If you guys are interested, or if any of the viewers are interested, if they got through the entire hour, then let me know. And any question that you have, I will ask. Or if you even want to be on the podcast itself,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know when it
That
will
is
be.
very cool.
Hopefully next week, but yeah, no, I've got a bunch of special guests I want to get on.
Insert generic robotic sounding comment.
Like Herberza.
Yeah,
We gotta get her
someday.
buzz on though. That boy.
Oh yeah, multiple times.
Anyways, I guess that's it. So we got see you.